Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBox TV's podcast number 170. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Johnny V. Johnny, of course, back in our Milwaukee studios, and me in my northern cabin, maybe is what I'll call it.
Yeah, it's very rustic, I would say.
I'm up here visiting my parents up in just a couple, well, I'd say about 30 minutes from Green Bay, to put it on the map for everyone. Not far from where you and I grew up, Johnny.
Correct.
And up here for a couple days and headed back to the festivities and running the tournament that I have in store this weekend, the Cold Turkey. So pretty crazy. Get home from Arizona, come right up here, head right back, and right back in the swing of things. So glad everyone's here. This is, again, podcast number 170. We're going to have Jeremy Rusco probably in the next 10 to 12 minutes. He's going to be joining us. There's a lot of conversation, obviously, that took place last week about, well, we'll say the trilogy, meaning Latitude 64, Dynamic Disc, West Side Disc. So we'll be able to ask Jeremy Rusco all sorts of questions as to what's going on there. So if there's any confusion or uncertainty that you have there, we should be able to address it with Jeremy Rusco. In fact, he even texted me earlier today and said, I'm an open book, whatever you've got. And I was like, I don't know if you want to say that to us. If you did.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. But usually because when someone's an open book, we go off the books.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
that whole trilogy thing was fine, but I heard in college.
Exactly. So we're excited to talk with Jeremy Rusco again. We'll have him on in about 10 to 12 minutes. Also, we've reached out to Chris Keseloff, he, of course, being your 2017 Next Generation National Champion, who then also got to drive off in the brand new Kia.
That was pretty awesome.
Along with a few of his card mates. It was really exciting. However, Chris has never used Skype, and he said he might be playing some night golf. So we may have a challenge or two, and we'll get him on. We'll see how it goes. And I guess we can assess from there, and that may determine just how long we go with him.
And if it's no good and he's busy, we'll reschedule for a good interview with him. So we'll see.
Well, and I think it's pretty safe to say that this is not the last we're going to hear of him. I saw him earlier this year at the M Worlds, saw him in the Final Four, then saw what he did this weekend at the National Championships. And there is just really no doubt whatsoever that we're going to see and hear a lot more from this young man moving forward in the disc golf community. So that should be pretty exciting.
Sure. Yep.
So glad everyone's out on the board. If you guys can like, share, pass around the link, let everyone know that you're watching live. And Jeremy Rusco should be a lot of fun. Neither you nor I don't believe, really caught up with Dynamite. I guess
I spoke with him today. I spoke with him today. Actually, he messaged me earlier in the day, and he was like, "Hey, let's nail down why my Skype sucks." And I was like,
"Wow!"
And I said that is a great idea. And I named off like 2 or 3 things that could be his side, could be our side. It doesn't seem to be his internet, all this other stuff. But I said, you know what? That's a great idea. Just not this week because we don't need you. I said because we'll have Rusco on early in the show, and then the goal is to have Chris on later in the show. So he was cool with that, and he was like, "Fine, I don't love you anymore. I'll see you next week."
Shouldn't he be worried about having a kid or something in the next few days or hours? Something like that. I think it's coming up soon.
I was kind of hoping we'd catch it right live. Like just just have Ashley walk in and be like, "It's time."
Yeah. I would figure he'd also Skype in from the hospital. That would only be the appropriate thing to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was a given. That's a given. I want the doctor to wear like a head cam while we're delivering. We're gonna be one of those podcasts.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to recognize we got a couple people on the board. Disc Golf Nerd, thank you as always for all your contributions. He says he's also happy to report that his Silly Pint has arrived. And yes, I finally got his Silly Pint out that we've been talking about for quite some time. I see Seth Fenley on the board, our Disc Golf Pro Tour social media director who's going to be doing a ton of work. I think I'm also going to see him in about a month when I head down to the South Florida Open. So looking forward to see him. Scott, a.k.a. Phoenix Ruger Redbird, also on the board. Saw him this last weekend, again, along with the massive staff and crew out at the Fountain Hills in the Next Gen event. So a little later, if and when we get Chris on we'll ask him about some more specifics that reference his championship and his championship run. But I, of course, and on behalf of myself and Johnny and our cameramen, I have to again say, just hats off to the amazing crew, everyone that did so much work for the Next Gen Tour. Some people may think, oh, well, that's great, they had this championships, but it was really a culmination over 3,000 competitors throughout the year.
An entire year.
Exactly. Over 100 events, and then regional qualifiers, and then all of this points. So it came to a head this last weekend, but it was an entire year. And even last year was obviously a building year when they had debuted the tour. So to get to Fountain Hills, to give you guys a little bit of highlight coverage for the first few rounds, to then have all the amazing conversations I had Saturday night with our up-and-coming superstars, many of them that were in the top 10, top 15 or so, and then for us to be able to show the world live what we did on Sunday as we ultimately crowned Chris. It was I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a really, really good time. And I think if you didn't take the Next Gen Tour as seriously this year, you'll take it. You definitely should come next year and in future years, because I think it's only going to get better.
I'm not going to lie. I was, not that I didn't take the Next Gen Tour seriously, because I did. I just didn't. I wasn't hyped up for the event on Sunday. I was kind of like, all I was thinking is earlier in the week, like, oh gosh, we're gonna, a bunch of AMs throwing bad shots in the water, and it's just not going to be that much fun. We're not going to have any viewership, this and that. And then we started out, and it kind of got exciting. I'm like, wow, these guys are actually kind of close. This should be fun. We got to show the first 9 holes of the semifinal round, and I believe
plus a playoff.
Yeah, I was gonna say at the end of it, there was a playoff to get into the finals, and I thought, well, wow, this is actually kind of exciting. Someone is not going to have a chance to win a car. And then we get to the finals, where we have a tie. We go into the final hole with a tie, with a 2-way tie that turns into a 3-way tie for extra holes. And the whole building of it got me way more excited, because for a minute there I thought Silas was going to run away with it, and then I thought, oh no, my God, Chris is going to come back and get it. And it just turned out that was it Stuart? Was Stuart the third one? It was Chris.
No,
Silas.
No,
Stuart.
No,
right.
Stu had been eliminated.
That's right.
Stu/Scott, so I'll call him Stuart Scott, because I messed up his name
Booyah!
a dozen times. Exactly. R.I.P. Stuart Scott. Yeah, no, it was. Let me recap. I have to think about.
Because it wasn't
Clinton. We had Clinton Wren.
Clinton, because it wasn't Joe.
Who was also right. Yeah, Clinton was right in there, and then Joe Rawling had fallen off a little bit, but then of course, yeah, we saw, young Silas, and then obviously Chris Keseloff, and
then to go to the playoffs, have it go as long as it did, and part of the excitement was knowing that you had to leave, knowing like you had to catch a flight at a specific time, and the longer it went, the more slightly frustrated you were, and the more excited you were, and just to have it all kind of come together, and you're like, grr, and then the final putt, like, just at some point you just shake your head and you're thinking, what are you doing? Stop it.
Well, so with that, I think there needs to be a quick straw poll on the board, because it's already been discussed. The question is, go ahead and post on the board right now. And hopefully we'll find out when he joins us in a little while. Was Chris laying up for that putt and just gave it a little bit too much, or was Chris running at that putt trying to put it in? And I've already seen a few people put it on the board, their opinion. Go ahead and now go out to the board as we further discuss it, but go out to the board here on YouTube and tell us which you think it is. Was he running it and missed, or was he laying up and just threw it too hard?
Yeah, my personal opinion, I think he was running it. I don't know if he was just in his own world, and maybe he didn't realize Silas had gone OB, but based on where Silas was, because Silas got to take it at the end of the fountain pond thing. And so maybe he didn't even realize, like, oh, Silas went OB, I need to hit this to go in, or because I don't want to push anymore. I can kind of understand if you're in your own world and you're not thinking, but you got to know that. All I kept thinking when he got up to this thing was, all right, dude, get on a knee and lay it up. Don't even give yourself the extra angle of standing. Get down on one knee, maybe even flip the disc upside down and just toss it 20 feet. 10 to 20 feet in front of you, and just go. And then when he lined it up, you're yelling, I'm yelling at the computer. All I'm thinking is like, I don't know what's going on, but I hope it doesn't roll because I kind of want to be done.
Well, at one point, I think that might be the first time in our 3-year live history that I threatened physical violence.
You did.
When I said if he's running this, I may go smack him. So the board has very much been in favor, saying that he was running it. He was running it. He was running it. A lot of people are saying that that was in fact the case. Only 1 or 2 people think that he might have been just trying to lay it up with a little too much power. Matt Travis, also one of the final 16. I think I saw you there. You should have been, Matt. You were in my pool, so I'm going to say you were. Matt Travis is on the board from the Indiana, Illinois area, and he's saying, yeah, he was definitely running it.
Phoenix says,
and I know Matt was there.
Phoenix Ruger Redbird says that he knows he was running at it because he asked him 30 seconds later. Oh, why? Unless he kind of has that Paige Pierce mentality, like, I'm worse off if I try to lay up because it's not what I'm used to doing, and maybe it's not a shot that he's, quote unquote, we'll say, good at.
Sure.
But if you're not practicing 30-foot putts, if you're not good at laying up 30-foot putts, get used to it. You should practice those as well, apparently.
When they are for the win, you need to make sure.
And we're not just talking a win for like your league. Like, oh, I lost league tonight because I ran out of putt. A $17,000 card, the biggest prize in disc golf in years, in modern history, as far as I'm concerned. Like, that's just
yeah.
Like I said, other than old school Rose Bowl stuff, I think, but you just don't do it. Find a way, Chris. And I was writing out his name. I love the nickname Comeback Kid because his initials are Chris Keseloff, CK, and Comeback Kid is CK. I'm sold on it. Comeback Kid, Chris Comeback Kid Keseloff.
Well, it certainly worked for him. Matt Travis says he asked Andrew Cornwell, should I run it? And Cornwell said, hell yeah. So, Cornwell, I like you. I hope you come play my event this weekend, but you gave really poor advice. Yeah, not a bright idea. So, and before we move on, we're going to be able to have Rusco in just a moment here.
Yep.
Someone, Disc Golf Nerd, said, Terry, were you given any reason for the unique playoff structure? And yes, I was. Dave and Pat and the rest of the Next Gen Tour felt that because of the magnitude of the prizes here to be given away, and all tournaments are important, all tournaments and championships and titles carry weight, of course, we all know that. However, they said, due to the magnitude of this event and of the ultimately of the prize, that when they cut from the semifinals down to the finalists, they knew ahead of time that it was in fact going to be a unique playoff structure, because
aggregate, as they called it, an
aggregate as Dave coined that. So he knew it would be unique, and that's why they did it, because of the magnitude. And then of course when ultimately the finals were on the line, same exact idea, the aggregate, having that, which I've got to say,
I love it. I think it's great. I said this, I think we talked about it months and months ago, that a 1-hole sudden death playoff is unfair. Think about if they would have walked up to hole 1. You have a lefty versus a righty.
Sure.
At Fountain Hills. That's not exactly fair. I mean, you can both try to blow past it, whatever. I like the fact that it's a 3-hole and then sudden death. You play 3 holes. Hopefully there's somewhat of a variety. It's a little tough at Fountain Hills because you can pretty much just hyzer everything. Hole 18 is a little tougher you got to throw a perfect hyzer, but I like the 3-hole aggregate playoff that Dave has because it adds a little something. It's a little bit more dramatic. It's not just a one and done, but it does leave extra room to go on and on and
it
on.
Does. It certainly can test that. And the final few questions before we get over to Rusco. Grady Clifford says it's PGA style playoff. Also, Tommy says, then why did they flip the disc in the playoff and not use the current teeing order from the last hole? I agree. I think that added a little. I mean, it was unique, but I feel like they could have just went customary there. So that's some interesting feedback. And then, how dark was it during the last hole? It wasn't dark in terms of like anybody being worried about them being able to see the basket or see, or, busting out any lights or glow lights or flashlights. It was nowhere near that yet. Of course, from our perspective, it was just getting a little bit dark in terms of the camera being able to, correctly portray that to everyone out there. So I think, that was part of the situation. But in terms of being there, it's not like, you had to have a flashlight on to see where you were going. So,
Correct.
And yes, we made our flights. I have to thank Rex and I have to thank Keith from Spinners on the Green. The only reason we actually made the flights is because Keith brought us straight to the drop off. And I know I talked about it during the broadcast, but Keith brought us right to the drop off. Otherwise, I would have had to return the rental car. And if you're familiar with Phoenix, the rental car place is like a full 5 to 10 minute bus
Shuttle,
ride away.
Yeah.
And then you have to return it and then get back. And with that, if I would have had to do that, we would have certainly missed the flights. But because Rex and Keith were able to step in, they dropped us off. We just barely made the flight. Everything was perfect. So thank you to both of them. Thank you to everyone. It was, it was very close. And I'll say this too. I apologize to Pat Govang and Dave and the crew. I didn't want to sound like my flight was more important than the event or anything of that nature. I know I kind of was throwing that out there through the finals, but I want to be very clear to everyone. Our commitment and dedication, of course, was to this amazing playoff. And at no point would I ever be like, well, I know you guys might have 3 more playoff holes, but we're out of here. Had I missed the flight, that would have been, dare I say, simply worth it. And if there was a later flight in the night, I would have taken one. There wasn't. I got the latest flight of the night. If everything went perfectly, on par, we would have been fine. And this made it closer and more exciting, really, for everybody. So no, I guess. So no harm, no foul. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for the concerns. But I wanted to be very clear that anytime I was referencing the flight or my commitments, it was all in good fun.
We joke about it, but correct. We were not going anywhere with that playoff. So
no, it was far too awesome. All right, Johnny, I'm not in studio with you, obviously, but do you see any input or anything coming from? So if Jeremy Rusco is ready, I know we've been talking to Bobby Brown and coordinating things, but if Jeremy's ready. I think we'd be ready to give him a call any moment here and get him on the line. I've got some questions for him as well. I
just messaged Bobby and told him to call our Skype line. So hopefully that should ring up in a second. I'm excited because I think we're going to do an extra giveaway tonight.
What extra giveaway?
I'm going to figure out a way, and it's not just for the live viewers. I want to figure out a way for all of our viewers to win this awesome disc. And yeah, this is a Dymax. Anyone want to take a guess at what it is? Guess at what it is? I know Terry knows.
Oh, I do know now. Darn it!
No, yeah.
Wait, do I win it if I get? Let me guess. If I win,
you don't have to win it. I have a few here for you.
Oh, okay.
It's a harp. It's a Dymax harp with a
sweet
Smashbox logo. So I want to give away one of these for. Oh, here's Jeremy right now. I'm gonna give away one of these in the after show for our Patreon supporters, and we're gonna give away one of these during the show. We're gonna find a good way to give it away. So, it looks like. Did I? Hi, Mr. Rusco.
Do I need to call back in a second, or how does this work?
No, I think I don't know if I just hung up on Terry or not. Hold on. Let's do this once. Nope, that's not it. This side right here. Merge the calls. There we go. That's how we do it.
Oh man.
I know. Suddenly I had to merge the call somehow. So Terry, you there?
I am here.
All right, your video did not come in. I just got a static image
I
of
have
you.
to. Okay, no problem.
So
there you go. Now it should be. I think my video should be popping up here. There you go.
Now we got everybody. All right. Perfect. How's everyone doing? Jeremy, welcome back to the show. You've been on quite a few times. You're one of our most frequent guests between all the news you guys do and GBO and all this other fun stuff. And you've got you had some really big announcements last week. You guys announced it Wednesday. You want to go ahead and fill in all of our users as to what what your big news is.
Starting out just like that, huh? Yeah, great to be back.
Right into it.
And yeah, we last week we made the announcement that Dynamic Discs and Latitude 64 have we purchased Westside Discs. Westside will now be under our control, and there's not many opportunities like this in the disc golf world, and we are super excited for Dynamic Disc and Latitude 64 to take over the Westside Discs brand, and very, very, very excited about what the future is going to bring with that.
All right, thanks for having me on the show. We're Terry, what do you got?
Well, I mean, there's I didn't even get a chance to really talk with you guys, or even when I saw Dave Berglund over at Arizona. But I think a lot of people want to know, what does this mean for you guys? And the follow-up right away is, how do you guys kind of co-own Westside in terms of, like, are you going to flip a coin who gets ultimate decision making on, like, well, I want to name it this and I want to name it this, and you're both like, I don't know what the finished word is for either of them, so let's flip a coin? How does that even work?
Fantastic question. Well, fortunately, we have very much been in agreement with about almost everything that we've done in our more than 5-year business relationship. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to be figured out, and I don't think we'll be flipping a coin, but you never know. If it is, maybe it's going to be maybe there'll be a Smashbox logo on one of those sides. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we both have great working relationships, and we feel like we are very in tune with the disc golf market. Obviously, we're more in tune with the United States market, and Latitude 64 is more in tune with the entire European market. I can't speak a lick of Swedish, or not a lick of, well, I can't do that either, a lick of Finnish. So, of course, we're going to rely on them for their knowledge and expertise with the Finnish side of things, which is the most important European disc golf market, and the one that's growing very, very quickly, as we all know. So it's just going to be a back and forth for both of us, and at some point, I would imagine that we will appoint a person, a CEO, to be making some of those decisions along with us and really drive that brand. So a lot of things to figure out, and we're excited to be able to make this announcement, make this happen.
So when you guys talk about new discs and new molds, well, actually, let's even back up from there and start with, can you clarify for anyone that doesn't already know, where's production done? Who's designing discs? Who has input on discs, whether it's DD or Latitude or Westside right now? Who has some of those decisions? And where's the production done, and kind of what is that process right now?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So Latitude 64 started in 2005, much like we did as Dynamic Discs in 2005. But Latitude 64 started out as a manufacturer. They were more on the R&D side of things, but eventually merged into producing their own discs. And then Westside partnered up with Latitude 64 in 2009 to have discs made out of the Latitude 64 production facility. And then Dynamic Discs, we decided to partner up with Latitude 64 in late 2012 to produce discs, and obviously as a way for Latitude 64 to get more leverage, more availability in the United States, and a way for us to grow our brand and grow our market presence. And yeah, I mean, essentially up until here recently, all the decisions for Dynamic Discs were reliant upon us. Latitude 64 controlled their brand, and Westside, owned by Yanni Pintala, made the decisions for the Westside brand. And while most of those decisions we all coordinated and everything aligned, sometimes there's even more coordination needs to happen to make sure that all three brands are maybe we're producing a better variety of discs for that year. Maybe we're producing different bags or different baskets, all those different things. And so essentially, the owners of all the brands made those decisions, and now we will collectively, Dynamic Discs and Latitude 64, make those decisions for what we think is the best for Westside discs. And I think it's obviously going to make decisions more streamlined and more efficient, more easy.
Well, is it a fair assessment to say that Latitude 64 and DD have both been a little bit more aggressive in the markets? I think about the branding. I think about everything from apparel to then, of course, teaming up with Marvel and all the things that both of you guys have and the massive team that Latitude 64. I think they sponsor somewhere around like 4,000 players. DD sponsors DD sponsors quite a few players. But Westside, of the trilogy, nomenclature, Westside seemed to be a little less aggressive. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that assessment, and I think you pretty much nailed that spot on.
Do you see some infusion, I guess maybe would be the word, as you have a little bit of say, and then also Latitude say, and do you guys see that's more than likely how Westside can continue to grow?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that was part of the reason that we felt like it was important to, I don't know if revive the brand is the right word. Essentially Yanni was pretty conservative in his marketing and advertising efforts, promotional efforts. And, when you're not as connected to the United States market, it's hard to understand some of those things that you need to do. And we can say, we did say things and definitely understand why there would be some disconnect and why some things might not have happened, or why he might not have understood why additional marketing and advertising was needed to keep the brand growing at the pace that you could say Dynamic Discs and Latitude 64 were growing. And we're excited to be able to make those decisions. We're excited to put some of our creative passion into the brand to just keep it moving and hopefully keep it moving along at a faster pace than it has been.
Well, I'm going to follow that right up with an opposite yet, but maybe even tough question, which is some either non-believers or critics or just pessimists or maybe realists. I don't know. Some people are either concerned or calling that they think Westside may more or less dissolve. They think that with your efforts focus so much on DD and what Dave and the rest of the crew have going on at Latitude, some are worried, maybe is another good way to put it, that Westside may do the opposite. Instead of grow and thrive, some have said, well, maybe this is the beginning of the end. Do you have a good answer or a good rebuttal to that?
Yes, I absolutely do, and I don't think that we would be crazy enough to spend the money on the brand if we just wanted to dissolve it. And it is, honestly, it is an important brand. It takes a lot to build a brand in the disc golf industry. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of great products, a lot of great discs, and it's hard to really, I guess, claim your stake in the disc golf industry now, as things have gotten very, very. There's just a lot of competition right now, and competition is great. So, no, we absolutely want to keep the brand alive. A lot of our fans, a lot of our players refer to the three brands, Dynamic, Latitude, and Westside, as the trilogy. While we don't like that as company owners because it creates confusion for people when they hear about trilogy and they go into the store and they can't buy a trilogy disc. We did feel like it was important to make sure that we kept the three brands together, and ultimately there are some very good products out there for Westside that players want to continue to use and will continue to use, and we will definitely promote those products. And one of those that's or the number one product for discs or for a disc is the Westside Discs Harp. Obviously, that's a staple product in Ricky Wysocki's bag, and many of the top pros and many of the pros, period, that throw Westside. So that's an important product for us to keep as a Westside, as a disc from Westside Discs.
Yeah, and that, I guess I'd follow that up by saying I was I was waiting for the lawsuit for all the people that have, some kind of trilogy tattoo and are like, no, you can't ever get rid of that third brand. People are going to be suing you, saying they need to go get tattoos redone. But in all seriousness, there are a lot of hardcore fans that fully love and embrace, as the trilogy, as they've called it. And I know you've talked about that in the past, saying, you really like that DD is a brand and Latitude is a brand and Westside is a brand, but collectively, your fans ultimately have named this trilogy concept, and you go with what it is, right? It's not sometimes who you think you are. It's sometimes it's who people say you are, and you're part. Being part of such a powerful group of those three brands is still an awesome accomplishment. It's just all about the wording.
Yeah.
So, can you talk a little bit about Yanni, and in the sense that maybe why he has pulled back, or is he not the golfer per se that you were? Was he more interested in, say, the business side? I don't just mean skill level. No one's the golfer that you are, but I mean, like, there's a lot of, I've talked to a lot of people throughout the years, and we always kind of joked and said, we need disc golfers running businesses, we need business people running disc golf companies, not disc golfers running businesses.
Look at that, Terry. He decides to spin around. Well, I don't know. Did you catch? Did he actually ever throw out a question there, or?
Yes. I think I can continue that. Oh, there he's back.
He's back now.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Greetings again.
Hey. Did you hear what I was saying though? But basically, just talking about like where maybe Yanni's background and or why you maybe we're seeing him step aside.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Yanni and I have played probably 5 rounds, maybe more than that together. And I did come ahead at least 1 stroke every time. Maybe more than that, maybe less than that. And Yanni really enjoys disc golf. He started out as a player just like all of us, and he's a very good disc golfer in terms of throwing it where it's supposed to go and making putts. And he does have a passion for the sport, and he does continue to remain a player, and he will remain a player. And actually, he's excited to, when you get more involved in the sport as a business owner, it's hard to keep up with all those things that you did and all those things that you enjoyed in terms of playing. As you know, I'm sure you don't play as many rounds over there. But Yanni was kind of rubbing it in my face a little bit about the number of rounds that he's going to be able to play as he is in short-term disc golf retirement, or maybe long-term retirement. And he's essentially as businesses grow, as things change, as things evolve. Lifestyles, business, business mindsets change, and business, and Yanni saw some different opportunities, and he thought it was in his best interest to work with us to transition the brand over so that it could remain as a part of the trilogy. Obviously, he could have probably sold it to an outside company, but it seemed important for all of us, and questionably so. We might have just assumed the greatest value with the brand to keep it as a part of the trilogy. We'll call it the trilogy. So, I mean, Yanni's, I know you got to meet him, and a lot of others have too. He came over every year for the Glass Blown Open. Don't have confirmation whether he's coming to the Glass Blown Open yet next year or not. He was just over here about a month ago, and got to hang out with him. Got to play a round of disc golf with him. And yeah, things are good, and he's in a very good place, and he will always be the owner or the founder of Westside Discs, and I look forward to continuing that relationship with him.
And now you were just over in were you in Sweden? Is that where you were, like a week or so ago, meeting with Dave and others? I don't expect any industry secrets just yet. Maybe we'll save those for the after show. But what kinds of things do you guys talk about when you go over? I mean, it's obviously quite an effort to travel over there. So what kinds of things were on your agenda, and what do you feel like you got accomplished?
You think I could just screen share the notes from?
Yeah, sure. Just put them right up for everybody.
Well, at the end of every year, I guess you could say it's a great time to review. The year that we had, and obviously we talk on a very frequent basis, almost every day, if not every day. And it's reviving to be over there and see, to meet their staff, because they've grown as a company tremendously, like we have as well. To meet the new staff members, to see the old staff members that we've known for years, to talk about what the great things were accomplished throughout the current year, and then really looking forward to the next year, and making plans to make sure that 2018 it can be the most successful year possible. And it's amazing, you can talk on the phone, you can Skype, you can FaceTime and do all that stuff all the time, but just going over and meeting face to face and being injected in their culture and their work culture is just, it's a great thing. And I tell you what, it seems like we get 1,000 things more accomplished and talked about in in those meetings. And you're a zombie when you show up over there, because it's supposed to be bedtime. But you show up over there at 9 o'clock in the morning and got to get the ground running and drink coffee and say hello and have fun. But yeah, a lot of stuff happening. The biggest craze here recently has been the burst stuff.
All right, you're right. As we've seen it explode everywhere, how is that process different for you guys? And again, I don't expect industry secrets. Well, not with everybody anyway. But how is that process different? And how cool is it for you guys to come out with yet what appears to be a really new innovation that we haven't seen a lot of or ever before even?
I think he's hiding.
He told me to ask him any questions.
He did.
So
he did say it was an open book. So
yeah, of course. Well, they're working on a video. I think it will probably be based not on factual things.
Okay. Well, then so Bobby's
I tell you what,
so Bobby's working on it then. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing how these things look, and I mean, it's even everybody here at Dynamic Disc is putting these things in their bag. They've got no reason to buy and get another disc, but they're like, oh, I just had to get these. Oh, just had to get these, and it's cool, and they look good, and yeah, we've implemented a lot of that into our recent production. And obviously it takes a long time for production to getting over here to the United States, but we're pushing things through as quick as we can, and there's going to become more and more of that available, and we'll see where things go with it.
And I'll follow that up and say, are there any limitations right now in terms of where those are implemented? I know, I when I think back to certain discs that are best for either dyed or Dymax or whatever the case might be, every disc and every plastic has some form of limitation. Is that going to be the same of burst, or could that be really done anywhere on any disc? Yeah, good. I'm making them squirm. I'm doing my job.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of burst discs that have been put out, and you're just going to keep seeing more and more. But generally speaking, though, the focus on it. The best burst effects do happen on our prime retro Origio plastics, basically what a lot of people like to refer to as putter plastic, entry level, most affordable plastic, and classic Zero and BT plastics do quite well. And the other one that really looks really sharp is our highest quality plastic, which the Fusion and gold and tournament plastic. And yeah, you're just going to keep seeing more and more. And it'll be interesting because at some point people are going to say, "Hey, bring back the white, bring back the bring back the pink, bring back the regular purple." but time will tell.
So Disc Golf Nerd, who's a major contributor to disc golf and reviews, and he talks about a lot of different plastic and helps us out. He said, I would like to see the trilogy start using all one set of plastic names. And immediately I think, well, you have your own branding and you kind of have your own marketing. But on the same tone, I mean, it seems like that would really simplify a lot of things. I mean, you're talking about how many plastics did you just name? Like 74?
It was 72.
Okay,
yeah.
I mean that could get trimmed down to like 12 potentially.
Yeah, well, we simplify, moonshine. We simplified moonshine and air. No, I'm sure now that the recent acquisition, the recent change, some more discussion around that will happen, and I can't say whether I feel like anything is going to change or not, but it's definitely a discussion point that we had early on that we felt like it was best to keep Latitude and Westside with their own plastic names. And of course, that took us a lot of time to figure out what we were going to call ours, but we got to figure it out, and time will tell.
That sounds like a great non-answer. So one of the some people, when they was talking about an announcement, when you guys were teasing things out last week, I would say a very popular guess was that DD will start producing discs here stateside. Yeah. And obviously that wasn't the case. And right now, Latitude is doing all of that. Is there that plan in mind? Is that just come down to sheer economics and working relationship? What kind of things go into that? Because everybody, of course, my favorite words in disc golf are, what you should do, and then they followed up with something. So I'm sure plenty of people have suggested such a thing, but right now that's not where you guys are at.
Yeah, that speculation was, I guess you could call it speculation for the announcement was, I could definitely see where a lot of people were thinking that, and that is something that we continue to talk about. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money in transit to get the discs over here, to get the product over here, and it's there's a lot of challenges with having stuff produced in Sweden. But with that being said, it is also we are very good, at least we think we're good to whatever degree we want to think we're good we're best at marketing, advertising, sales, distribution. Latitude 64, obviously they started out as a manufacturer, and so what they're good at is making great discs. Many would argue they're the best discs in all of disc golf. Of course, that depends on who you talk to, but again, it takes a lot of money to ship those over. We do more air shipments a year than we want to do, and of course we do more. We do a lot on ocean, on container, and having a production facility over here that would be right next to our distribution center would obviously alleviate a lot of those challenges. But right now, Latitude 64 has the production capacity to keep up with everything. They've grown at the pace that we've grown, and time will tell with that. It is absolutely a discussion point, and is absolutely continues to remain a discussion point. And I think at some point you will see production happening over here but next to our distribution center.
Interesting. So some other huge news that went down last week, and it was exactly a week ago today. They did a great job in Doug and Bobby hosting the pre-event Q&A session. I again commend you guys on such a great idea when you're dealing with so many players and you're dealing with an event that sells out literally within minutes. Having this half hour or 40-minute question and answer was so great, because I was sitting there watching it thinking just how many emails that was alleviating at the same time if people were really paying attention. But talk to us a little bit here about the GBO, where you guys stand, how insane it is to take 1,000 or so registrations, or near 1,000 registration literally in a few minutes. GBO 2018, it's kind of a big deal again, I guess.
Yeah. I hope you guys can make it.
I don't know. We'll check our calendar. I might be washing my hair. I don't know.
Yeah. I tell you, wow, what an amazing thing for. I mean, the Glass One Open has just grown into something that's just incredible, and I mean, we knew it was going to be, registration was going to happen very quickly, and things were going to sell out in minutes. But to just see the sheer volume and see the wait list grow to, almost 500 people in really a matter of minutes is we were talking about afterwards, and there's few events in the country that even get 500 players. That's just incredible. And yeah, it's a special time. It's a special event for us. I think it's really a special event for all of disc golf. I tell you what, we work on it year round. We're very fortunate to have Doug Bjerkes, steering the ship, because it takes somebody who's very organized, well thought out to put these things on. And of course, it goes down to everybody. It just comes down to the repetition that we have in town. That goes all the way to, just really everything. When you guys come to town, you know what you're getting into, what to expect. And we've just got a well-oiled tournament and machine, and we're really looking forward to just an amazing team Glass. We're hoping to have some exciting news coming up, as all that stuff happened and everybody got, just seeing that many people on the wait list, obviously. And we want to do everything that we can. And if we can't get everybody in for the Glass Blown, all the people on the wait list, which is obviously not going to happen, but we're doing everything we can to look at all the different options and scenarios. But regardless, I think there's 10 PDGA events that you can play that week if you're not even in the Glass Blown Open. There's just a lot of activities going on. It's really a special time for disc golf, and you can just get you can be around the top players in the world at so many different opportunities, whether it's playing poker with Ricky Wysocki and Paige Pierce and Paul Ulibarri and Katrina. I think are always in there, running at the end of the game, at the end of the tournament. And there's just so many different things going on. I encourage everybody to come, whether you're playing in the event or whether you're coming to spectate or coming to play in those C tier. It's just, there's a lot of excitement. Looking forward to seeing you guys and all the players at the end of April.
Yeah, it is a massive undertaking, and I remember thinking for so many years people would talk about, oh, the GBO, it's this big time event, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, it's on my bucket list. I'd like to go check it out. And then finally, when I did get down there for the first time just a couple years ago, I feel like everybody else. Like, I don't want to miss this. There's no reason in the world I would ever want to miss this event moving forward just to be involved. But now you guys are, in a sense, almost doubling down, as if the GBO is not this massive enough event. You are also then going to take on hosting the next 3 years of the Junior Worlds.
Yeah.
How as a company and as a tournament director and Doug and the rest of the crew, but how in the world as a company do you guys say, yeah, we'll run this 1,000-person GBO, and we're also going to run this PDGA major, this junior event? How do you guys even think about preparing for stuff like that?
Doug.
Okay, Doug.
Well, last year with we hosted the Glass Blown Open again with, what was it, 1,120 players, and we had the Professional World Championships that same year. And Doug was working his tail off to make that happen, and he was doing might I mention he was doing that as a part-time employee. We're super fortunate to have him. He started full-time November 1st. For us at Dynamic Disc, obviously the growth of the Glass Blown Open, Junior Worlds, our stadium events. This next year we're doing it at Arrowhead Stadium. Pretty excited about that one. I go to a lot of Chiefs games. Tomahawk Chop. And just all the things that we're doing. There's a lot going on, and we're super excited about the Junior World Championships being its own challenges that amateur and junior worlds in the past have faced when they've hosted, both all skill levels and all ages for Amateur Worlds, and we did that back in 2013, and we were host to the Amateur and Junior World Championships. But we're going to cater to the junior players. It's going to be an amazing time in Emporia. With everything being so close, we think there's no better city to host the Junior World Championships, and obviously that's why the PDGA partnered with us for 3 consecutive years in a row, and we're just really looking forward to having a great event and making these juniors feel like world class players, whether they got first place or whether they got last.
Yeah, it should be really exciting now. We've seen such a transition. You know, it used to be Am Worlds and Pro Worlds, and now we're up to 4 different world championships. The Masters, which is in Kansas Kansas City this year, hosted by Scott Reek. We've got the Masters Worlds, we got the Junior Worlds, the Am Worlds, and the Pro Worlds. It's amazing. And then I think about what that also means for your traveling staff, your traveling crew. I think about, you know, your Robert McCall as your team guy, and Bobby Brown and Andrew and everyone else that has anything to do with the media and yourself. I mean, you're taking what used to be 2 really busy weeks, and now likely, you know, going all out, and you'll be involved with 4 really busy weeks.
I think we should just combine them.
There you go. And let me guess, you want to host them in Emporia?
Brilliant.
I tell you, we're doing some real work here tonight, buddy. When you're not dodging my questions, we're coming up with good ideas.
Yeah, well, you're darn right. Let's get together more.
So the next hot topic, clearly, here we are, end of November. Contracts are coming up. Who are you signing next year? That's all we need to know now.
No, I just want to know who's getting the axe. I don't care about who you're signing. Who's not?
Okay, yeah, let's start there.
Who's not going to be signed next year? Let's start breaking some hearts.
Hearts. Oh man. You know, we probably have to call Robert McCall.
Okay.
Hey, I got somebody who said it should be Robert with the call McCall. Has that one been brought up? I can't keep.
I think I've heard on the Robert on the call, or I don't know if I've heard with the call, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Robert, make the call, McCall. There's
maybe I'm botching that, but I was like, yeah, okay, and yeah. Anyway, you know, I don't know. We're obviously we're trying our best to. We're trying. I can't say it all. Did you get your team contract in the mail, Terry?
I'm sorry. Did I get one? Not yet. Should I be waiting for one?
What'd you think of the bonus structure?
I would like to see more about it, and I think we should talk a little more about it.
Yeah.
What are some of the things? Clearly, you have input. Robert has input. Other players on your team have input. But maybe a fair yet generic question for you is, what are some of the things people should try to exemplify or be or do if they're looking to somehow be asked to be on Team Dynamic Disc? What are you looking for in prospective team members?
Mostly we're looking for obviously good quality people, just great people who do things on and off course. And at the end of the day, we're not really, sure, we'd love to have a world champion male player. We, think pretty highly of Paige Pierce. But at the end of the day, we're not just trying to get the best player. There's a lot of variables that come into play with it. And I was just going through this the other day. We've had over 1,000 people fill out our sponsorship request form, team sponsorship request form, and they've got to put a lot of information in that. And I tell you what, there are so many good candidates for that. It's hard to say no, and no and no. And thankfully, Robert's the one that has to say no, no, and no. But I tell you what, every year we add more players. Some as lifestyles change with people, obviously some team members get shifted off just because they're not playing disc golf. You used to sponsored by every company probably, and you got kicked off all those teams, right, Terry?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. With that being said, West Side has been a pretty small team, roughly 20 players on that team, and I think there's a lot of opportunity there to get more players and more representation through that team. And of course, we're going to add some players as well. And I don't know, maybe we can share some stuff at a poker night or something at Bobby's house sometime soon. I don't know.
I think people should have to play poker to earn their spot on the team.
Yes.
Or lose their spot. It could be one of the other. Oh,
Yeah.
you're first out? Yeah, sorry. Let's just rip up that contract.
Yeah, I'm excited to say that we're Paige Pierce got her van. I'm sure you've probably seen some stuff country next year, and we're going to have dynamic discs all over that, and of course Paige Pierce's signature, and we're super excited to have her back, and sure would like to think that we're going to have her for as long as she's around disc golf.
Well, and that obviously a huge acquisition, and everything about that has been I guess there was some writing on the wall, and to know her feelings, and then to see her perform, and even the rare days she doesn't win, she knows that she has that love and that support, and she uses that one of those F words. She uses family all the time, and that's how she certainly has said that she's felt among the DD staff and crew, and just really the DD extended family. And I think a lot of that exuded from her throughout the year, and potentially led to the one of the most successful years we've ever seen from any player ever. So it's awesome to see. You guys also run a ton of events. Earlier, you were talking about some of DD's, main strengths, core competencies, and running events. There's the glass blown. There's the world champion, junior worlds. What about? What are we? Oh, come on! You knew where I was maybe going. What is that? Tell everybody about it.
I don't know where you're going, but I just had this conveniently here, so. You've got limited time tonight, so maybe we can say that for another episode. But we are very excited as well too. There's disc golf's fun. Tournaments are just fantastic, but we've done was one to really head up some of the match play here in Emporia here over the last couple of years, and it's just a unique, great format that players just, I tell you, when you do it, you just have an amazing time. It's just a completely different mindset to the match. And we are very excited to get behind a nationwide, but potentially worldwide match play series, match play championships, the United States Amateur Match Play Championship. I said amateur. So Terry, since you're professional, Johnny V, you guys are, I don't know what to say, but maybe we can, what do they call it? Give you an exemption. I forget what they called it. PJ. Anyway.
That might work. Okay. I'm not going to let you D-tease me there. D-tease me? I don't know. We just got done wrapping up and covering the national championships, of course, the Latitude Next Gen Tour. Give us a few similarities and or major differences besides just the format of play when you're talking about the match play series you're talking about versus what we see from the Next Gen Tour.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I can't keep up with everything. I'm not fully versed in all the ins and outs of Next Gen, but there is a similar thing in terms of the local qualifiers, the state, championships and the national championships. And, essentially we want, communities to get behind, match play series at their own leisure through an extended period of time. And then the state championships are when things are going to get a little bit more serious. And then obviously the national championships, which will be held in Emporia can this with Latitude 64, West Side Disc and Dynamic Disc behind it. You saw the effort that Latitude 64 put behind the Next Generation Tour. We have similar goals and aspirations with this. There will be a lot more information coming out very soon, and I think you're going to have to schedule schedule. Doug's the expert on this one. You're going to have to schedule him on this. This is coming up on this winter. We do have, I don't know how much has been discussed, but the Winter Marksman League. We're super excited, not only on the match play, but on the Winter Marksman League. We've partnered up with UDisc, and they've just done an incredible job building the platform, building the software, the app, to make it where the Winter Marksman League, everybody can keep their scores on their phone, upload it to the whole UDisc platform, and you could, if Ricky Wysocki, Paige Pierce, Eric McCabe, any of the top player, any player, your score for the Winter Marksman League to their scores, and we've standardized the format to where it's basically everybody's going to be doing the same stations, and I think it's going to be very fun to see where these players come in week after week when there's not a lot of competition that's I don't know whether you want to say worthy to talk about or whatever, but just an extra thing for us to do during the winter, and I'm very excited to partner with UDisc on that one.
Yeah, those guys are killing it. We see them, of course, doing so many great things for courses and disc tracking, and then obviously their partnership with the Pro Tour, and just really help elevate everything when it comes to scorekeeping and disc golf apps. You're silly not. And how convenient that every person that plays in my event this weekend, this upcoming weekend, is going to get a free service from UDisc. So more details on that later, though. But great segue, Jeremy. You really knocked that one out of the park.
Yeah, you knocked it out of the park. So far that Terry dropped off the call again.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, so I've got a question for you. Well, I got two questions for you. One of which is to give away one of our wonderful Dymax harps that was so kindly provided by you guys. Thank you very much.
Ice cream.
I want to know, Jeremy. This is gonna be a nice little quiz for people. What is your favorite West Side disc?
My personally?
Yeah, yours personally. And then we're going to use that as a question. People are going to have to answer it, and we're going to give all the winners are going to get a chance to win this particular disc. So that's going to be the question to be asked.
Do you want him to answer it right now?
I do.
John?
I want him to answer it. I want to answer what's Jeremy's.
Okay.
And then people have to listen to the podcast to get the answer. So.
Oh, my gosh.
So... my favorite disc from West Side is the Shield, and the reason that it's the Shield, I started out putting with the Judge, and then the Shield was the 2014 Trilogy Challenge disc from West Side, the Trilogy Challenge putter from that year, and I went out to Peter Pan and just putted lights out, played lights out for having 3 discs, and I just putted with the Shield for like the next year, and love that disc. Obviously, I know it's been a staple disc for Johnny McRae. He can throw that thing further than I can throw my drivers. It's pathetic for me. It's great for him, and it's solid. Yeah, the Shield.
All right, awesome, the Shield. So the only other question I have regarding the whole West Side deal is, what is this going to mean for your crew, Bobby and Robert, as far as their workload? Is Bobby now going to be pulling double duty for creating all the media for both companies, or company and a half, kind of? How is that going to work on his side, or is that not even yet determined?
So I think Bobby puts in like minimum 80 hours a week, week after week, just like many in the disc golf industry. You could arguably question that it's way more than that. I think he's probably good for another 40 with West Side.
At least
120 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's there is going to be some of his time, some of Robert's time that is going to be put forth to make sure that the brand does get some more social media push, some more marketing. And yeah, Bobby's just going to have to step it up another notch, and I'm 100% certain that he can do that. And yeah, it's going to be good.
All right, awesome.
Well, not for
Bobby, but for us.
Not for them.
Yeah, I think he just texted me and said, "Hey, can we talk at 7:00 in the morning?"
He's going to ask for another assistant. You guys are going to need to hire another Anthony or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's in motion.
There you go.
Awesome. Is there anything else? I feel like for the people that say, "Oh, sometimes we go a little too easy on our guests," I feel like we asked some of the tough questions for you tonight. Is there anything else you need to share that I didn't ask you? Anything you need to volunteer?
There was one question a lot of the crew laughed about that didn't get answered on our Q&A session. That was, well, what happened to Yanni's yellow Mustang? Because Yanni just a 2016 yellow Ford Mustang, just beautiful. If you were in town for Glassbone Open, you saw him driving. If you're in town for Worlds, you saw him driving it. And part of that, that's the one thing I think a lot of Americans don't understand is really the European culture. They love the United States, and they love us as people, and then they love our sports cars. A Ford Mustang, he purchased that, and part of him coming over here, he picked up the Mustang and drove it down to Atlanta and gave it to a company to put it into a shipping container. And he actually sent me the update today, and it was he sent me the tracking on the boat, and it's getting ready to start crossing the Atlantic. But yeah, that's probably about it. We didn't touch base. I'll spend like a whopping 30 seconds. West Side's new discs for next year, a pretty high-speed driver, somewhere Enforcer-esque from the Dynamic Disc line. This one's going to be called the Warhorse, a very, very, very overstable mid-range called the Anvil. Basically, think of a Justice without the bead on the bottom is a little bit more comfortable grip for a lot of people. And a Trilogy Challenge putter for West Side is going to be the Maiden, and this is one that David Berglund said he's been missing in his bag for like 30 years. So 3 new discs from West Side that we're very excited about, and those will be available in, I believe, April and May for the Trilogy Challenge putter, which will be the Maiden.
Awesome. Well, I think it's been brought to light that anytime there is a discrepancy between you and Dave as you guys move forward with the West Side and with the details, it's been determined that there'll just have to be a 50 nugget challenge, and then whoever wins that is ultimately gets their way. I mean, that sounds pretty fair to me.
Oh, well, actually, me knowing what David Berglund eats, there is absolutely he can barely finish. While I don't eat very many chicken nuggets, I feel pretty confident that I can probably eat more chicken nuggets than he can, and that might be like I might have to eat all of 15. I can't handle the 50 like Devin did, and oh man, those guys are funny.
Wow.
Again, a lot of fun content coming out of you guys. We saw the challenge, also saw Bobby and McCall square off in the disc golf jokes recently. That was great to see as well. I think the community would love to see more of those. And I don't know what rating I give Doug on coming up with those some of those jokes, but I think we'd all love to see and hear more of them.
Oh, just come upstairs and work next to him in the office. You'll get 5 of them a day. It's just like, dang it, Doug. We just call them dad jokes. They're Doug's dad jokes.
And then it's funny because I think I just mentioned content, and then I think it was just earlier today I saw Paige Bierkes, with Paige's take on various discs from the shop. Again, just another one of the many ways that you guys reach out, and you guys are killing it on social media. With your vision and work, along with Bobby and all the other guys, and Anthony and everybody that works so hard to provide everyone with that content. I know everybody loves it. We just everybody wants more of it, so keep at it.
Yeah, never can have enough, and it absolutely is a team effort all the way around, with everybody in disc golf, and it's exciting to see the growth that we're experiencing right now. And I think we all like to believe that it's not slowing down anytime soon. The PDJ statistic came out, I think just about a month ago, where there were over, I think it was 1,500 courses that were put in the ground in 2016, and that's just incredible growth. And obviously, with every course that goes in the ground, more and more people are playing disc golf, and it's a very exciting time. And I don't got to get more and more people involved, and it's absolutely happening every day.
It is. It's awesome. Well, you guys are helping lead that charge, and we say it all the time. We love working with companies that work with us and that are so supportive of golf. And you've told us personally, you've been public about it, that you like embracing the media, and you guys have always been so supportive of what we're doing. And we want to thank you for that. And we look forward to an awesome 2018 and beyond as we come right around that corner for next year.
Yeah, for sure. You guys are rock stars. We love what you do, and media is everything, and it's the only thing that we can keep doing to get disc golf put on a bigger stage. And of course, every time you guys are there to capture those aces that get put on ESPN, as silly as it sounds, as silly as it seems, but when people see those on ESPN, they go out and play disc golf for the first time and stories. And so thank you again. Looking forward to a great year. I appreciate what you guys do. And I think it's time for you guys to turn over to the comeback kid, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we're going to we're going to hopefully check in with him here soon. Amazing feat on his behalf. And yeah.
That was exciting.
All right.
So glad
it was.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.
All right.
Thanks, Johnny V.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you. Have a good night. See ya. All right. Of course, Jeremy Rusco. Johnny, I don't know if you need to hang up or do anything or readjust anything. I don't know what your screen's going to look like moving forward with me being remote. I'm not sure what's all going on.
We're just going to have this big DD logo in between us.
If that's going to happen, I think we need to see some dollar signs. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we want to thank Jeremy Rusco, of course, and we truly mean it. People sometimes will accuse us of being in bed with or fanboys with any given person and or company, and we say it time and time again. If you as a company or you as a person are going to work with us and be so forthcoming and helpful and gracious like they are over at DD, we're always going to want to interact with you guys because it's just such a beautiful mutual relationship, and we just really appreciate everything that they do. So
most certainly.
All right, Johnny, I'm going to see if there's any chance I've got any messaging here from none other than Chris Keseloff. I know we were certainly excited to have him. He made me a little nervous at one point. He said, well, I might be playing a night course, and so I might be out walking around playing a night course and doing it from my buddy's phone. So we're going to have to see if we're going to for sure be able to get him dialed up and have a good connection with him. The guy's just playing golf. Wants to play more golf and win a car and then go play more golf. So we'll see if we can get him dialed up here or not. I'm not sure. As I'm going to try and reach out to him.
Okay, yeah, have just like how to have him call in, and he'll jump right on the call, just like Jeremy did, and we'll be good to go.
It looks like he says he's ready. He says, "I'm ready whenever you are." I downloaded it, and how do I get in contact with you? So I'm going to try and situate that. If you've got something else for me.
No. Well, basically, like I asked Jeremy what his favorite disc was, we'll be giving this particular Dymax harp away. You can see tomorrow morning on Facebook. I have it scheduled. There will be a little form that people need to fill out. It'll have their name, their email address, and the question, what is Jeremy Rusco's favorite disc? So the audio podcast, I think I'm going to let it run for a couple days, probably through the holidays. through the end of the weekend, whatever, and give everybody a chance who's not a Patreon supporter to win one. And then in the after show tonight, we'll be giving away one of these exact same things for our Patreon supporters. So look for that on our Facebook page, the SmashBoxxTV Facebook page.
All right. Well, Johnny, I'm going to send you what I believe is his username. This is at least what he tells me. So if you can punch that in on your end on Skype, we'll see if you're going to be able to pull him up. And then if so, we'll get him on the line and have a quick chat with him about everything he's got going on.
Where did you send that to me through?
I'm sorry, to the Facebooks?
The Facebooks.
Actually, Mark Zuckerberg just needs to read it quick, and then I think he forwards it to you.
Okay.
After the message comes through. I think he checks. He wants to be sure of all the communication between you and I. I think he wants to make sure it's all on the up and up, but obviously it always is. So.
Yeah, there's never anything of any sort of ill repute going on Facebook.
Never.
Did we see any? Did we hear anything else this week? The DD news kind of enveloped everything, but was there anything else out there?
Joe PG says that he thinks that he heard that Paige may actually be moving over to Salient. That would be news, and that couldn't be any more wrong. But kind of a funny comment out there. What else I'd be curious to know what others thought, if there was anything else out there. I mean, the Next Gen tour wrapping up was so huge. Having then also the news about West Side, and then as we said, I think it was exactly last Tuesday, having the GBO registration open. I think there's a few other events that have opened registration. So if you're thinking about playing an event, I know the Memorial was getting close to full, if it's not already. I haven't looked lately. I know I saw a post just tonight about Las Vegas, the Las Vegas event possibly being sold out or close to it. So if you're at all thinking about going to any of these big events, you need to make sure to go out and get that taken care of right away. Or if you're thinking about playing in my event, Sunday's already sold out for the Cold Turkey 12. I do have available registration before the late fee kicks in, that is, for the next 26 hours. If you sign up for any advanced division or any professional division, you can do all of that still online. At 12:01 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, the late fee kicks in. So if there's 72 amateurs that have already done their job and gotten signed up, it's now all the upper divisions that I'm waiting on getting signed up for the event. But we've got over 100 people between the two events, which is awesome.
You still need
between the 2 days.
You didn't send that to me?
Sorry, Chris is trying to call my personal Skype, which isn't probably going to work.
Nope.
Whoops. I'm so sorry. I text him his own username, so instead of sending it to you.
All right, here. I'm going to do this. I'm gonna end the call with. Let's see if. Hold on.
End it with me, please. No, just let me go.
Please.
No.
All right, hold on.
All right.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to search Skype for him, so we're going to find. There's two Chris Keseloffs. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Can he just call the SmashBoxxTV one rather than call you? That makes things.
I'll try that.
That makes things way easier because there's only one SmashBoxxTV. There's two Chris Keseloffs. Makes it way more difficult on my side. So.
You just sent.
We can edit all this out of the podcast, can't we?
Sure. I don't know. Is that something you can do?
I don't know. I don't really do any editing, so.
Neither do I.
I did get a new Windows laptop for my work, so I'm pretty pumped about that because I can use it for all sorts of my own personal stuff. Pretty excited. All right.
All right. Looks like we've got
some absolute thrilling podcast on the air.
Terry, can you show us your contact list in your phone is one of the questions. No, I don't think that would be a good idea. Looks like Matt Travis making a funny says it looks like he's late for the podcast also. No, on his I did tell him originally 10 o'clock our time, and then we went a little bit longer with Rusco, so I can't blame him for any of the timing here. Where is Terry? I am at my parents' house, which is about 2 hours north of Johnny V and our normal Milwaukee studios. I'll be here until tomorrow, and then I'll be heading back to my place down closer to where Johnny is. Nick asks and says, I have a couple friends from Colorado moving to Wisconsin. What's up with Wisconsin? Should I visit? Yeah. We have some great disc golf with a ton of tournaments going on all the time. I think you would enjoy yourself. All right. I apologize, everyone. We're trying to just finalize this with Chris. Chris being a first-time ever Skype, not only a first-time ever guest, but a first-time ever Skype guest and a first-time ever Skype guest on our podcast. So we're just working through all of this with him. Looks like he hopefully will be ready any second. Johnny, why don't you just try one of the two and see if you can make it work? I mean, he's asking for a phone number, and Skype doesn't really work on phone numbers. I think you're better off trying to reach out to him with one of those two.
All right. The problem is neither of them are online.
Oh.
Yeah. This is normally stuff we do in the pre-show, but the problem was we didn't get a chance to. So
yeah, with Chris wasn't quite available as we thought that he would be. Meanwhile, I'm waiting on Chris, and I'll see if I can communicate with him. Did Terry get sunburned in Scottsdale? He looks fine now, but looked at the Next Gen after show. Yeah, somebody called me, I think, a fat red tomato during the after show that I did on, or the show that I had done on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
I got some sun. As always, it blends. I'm also naturally a little bit red.
Yeah, you're naturally a little bit red, and it tends to fade very quickly. I sent him a message, but I don't know if he's going to get it from me because it might go into, if I'm not friends with him on Facebook, it might just shoot off into that Nowhereville. Well, what we can do is we can actually talk about the results of the Next Gen Tour. We didn't really talk about him. Obviously, we're going to have the winner on, Chris Keseloff, who went into a 22-hole playoff. No, how many holes was it? Was that 6 holes?
6.
It was a 6-hole
Ultimately,
playoff.
it was 6
with Silas Schultz, and ended up coming out on top. Clinton only made 3 of the holes. He fell off after the first 3. He took 3rd place. Taking 4th place was Wisconsin's own Joseph Rawling. And actually, Clinton's from Wisconsin, too, so I don't feel bad about that. He's
on Alaska.
On Alaska, just on the other side. And then we also have Benjamin Cole taking 4th place. Those were your top 5 finishers. Taking 6th place, Stuart McIsaac. 7th place, Tristan Lucerne. And tied with Andrew Cornwell. So that is your Next Generation Tour top 7 players. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was, I can't imagine how it must have been being there as one of those players.
No, I mean, and I know, I think I said it as we were walking down the fairway during one of the playoff holes, 18 at one point. I just said, I've seen some great golf at Fountain Hills. We've seen some epic playoffs. We've seen, I think of Paul McBeth going up against, obviously, Jeremy Colling when they exchanged, long putts on 18, or the time they went to a playoff in Paul McBeth along with Will Schusterich, moving over to the playoff on hole 1. I mean, there's been some really epic things that have taken place out at that course throughout the years. It's for so long has been a part of the Memorial Championship event. And to see all of it go down the way it did, and it just makes me think, like, I'll likely never forget how that went down. I think about other epic battles and playoffs I've seen, and then this one, when you attach a car to it, when you attach, the $80-some thousand in awesome, prizes and other things that were given away, I'm just honored that I was there. I'm honored that I got to see it in person and call the shots, but I got to see it unfold in person and then get to know some of these guys as well as I did. Seeing Silas Schultz for a number of rounds, seeing, Chris then finally make it into those finals, for the final round. It was pretty cool to see it. So, Pretty crazy for sure.
All right, so we do have one other event from this past weekend. It's actually A tier. It is Legacy presents the 27th Veterans Park Open, the pro weekend down in Arlington, Texas. Winning that event by 6 strokes over Bradley Williams, so obviously a very well played, because Bradley seems to win everything in Texas almost, was Eagle McMahon. Eagle made a travel trip down there to do that. I just got a text from Terry and kind of I was a little no, it's fine. I was a little flustered for a second. Taking third place is Nate Perkins. Taking fourth place, tied with third, was Coda Hatfield at 14 under. Miles Seaborn tied with third place at 14 under, so we had a 3-way tie at third place. Taking sixth place, Zachariah Johnson. Seventh place, Emerson Keith. And looking over at the FPO division, Jen Allen takes home this one, traveling. She won by 26 strokes over Lisa Fakis. So that says a lot, because Lisa is a solid player. And to beat Lisa by 26 strokes is an epic. It's amazing.
Well, now I don't have it in front of me, but I think I remember looking on maybe Saturday night that didn't Jen open or have at least like one 995 rated round?
She started 966, 995, 961. So
yeah.
That is
when one of our top women puts up those kind of numbers, she's going to be tough to beat, for the weekend or for the day. There's no doubt about it.
That big long thing you sent me, is that okay? I'm
sorry, that's what he had sent me.
Okay, no, that's fine.
And I'm guessing you can't search that, but that's
maybe.
Maybe you can.
Hold on 1 second. Let me do one thing before I do that, because I want to. Let's take that and.
So naturally, of course, congratulations to Jen Allen. Congratulations to Eagle, and all of the competitors out there at the BPO. That was presented, I think, as you said, by Legacy Disc this weekend. So,
there we go. He's calling. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Chris, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, Chris. Hold on 1 second. I need to do. Hold on 1 second. I need to do one thing. I'll give you a call. Of all things, I'll give you a call right back. So I'm going to hang up with you, and I'll give you a call immediately back. Okay?
Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks.
All right, Chris, you're back on the show.
Did someone just ace? Oh.
All right, all right, dude. I'm gonna get Terry on the call now.
Okay. A little bit of.
All right, we're gonna get Terry here on the line, and then we're gonna get Chris as well. So hopefully we can merge these two calls.
All right. I think I'm here.
Let's. All right, there was an option here.
Maybe.
Why won't it merge the call now? It did it last time. I hate Skype sometimes. The one time.
Is there any chance? I was going to say, is there any chance there's another way that you could try and bring him on the call? Probably not.
No, I mean, it should literally just
merge.
It should just merge the calls. Skype, I swear, Skype. They can't ever make this easy.
Hello.
Hey, Chris, there you are. All right. Now let's see if we can get Terry on the call.
Hi.
Hey, there you are. Hold on here. won't. How's it going, Chris?
Hi, how's it going?
It's going all right. I'm gonna do this here. We're gonna have Terry call us back so he can join the call. And so, first of all, congratulations on your Next Gen Tour championship. Oh, here we go.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Terry, it won't let me merge these calls.
I can't hear you if you're talking to me.
Terry. All right, we're hanging up on Terry. I hate Skype. All right, Chris. For some reason, it won't let me bring Terry into the call, so we're just gonna say forget Terry for a little bit. Let's talk.
Run the show.
I will run the show. Let me do this. Just sit tight. I'm telling Terry. So, you walked off with a brand new vehicle from the Next Gen Tour. Did you just drive? Did you just drive that home? How did that work? You won the Next Gen Tour after a 6-hole playoff, but now my call's on hold for him. Really? All right.
Sorry, but I don't know what that was.
No,
but,
that's okay. I was just curious how we're having a fun night tonight. I asked about the car? How did you get that home? Did you literally just drive that home? You're only in California.
Actually, no. They gave me 4 options. I had to choose one of them to get it registered and drive it home that Monday, or to take it to California and have it, dealt with over here, so that I don't have to change the states.
Okay.
So I did option 4, so they're just gonna, deal with it over here. I'm gonna talk to him this week, and hopefully I'll be in that really soon.
All right, that's great. So briefly, tell us what happened day one. You obviously.
Real quick, can I make this part real quick? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't think that we've ever done this before.
Oh, a little high. Sorry, we're playing a doubles match right now. I wanted to come and show support to everyone over here, but
here, let's do this, Chris. I've got your contact on Skype. Why don't we get a hold of you either if you're still on after your doubles round, we can do that. Otherwise, we can talk to you next week as well.
Anytime that works for you guys.
Okay.
I mean, I'm all for it.
Yeah, let's do that. I want you to play well like you did this past weekend. But before you leave, I just have 2 quick questions. One, why did you run the last putt? What were you thinking?
Stay tuned next time. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I didn't want it to end that way. It was kind of sad to see that, because I was like, dang, I know this kid is like wanted it pretty much just as much as anybody else, and I just kind of just wanted to show respect by at least like running it. And I knew like everyone's already telling me like you're dumb for doing that, but I was like, I'm gonna just try to end it, go out in a bang, and
Yeah.
And if I roll into the lake, then I'll just make a putt and have Terry miss his flight.
we weren't too concerned about the flight as opposed to the playoff.
I'm just joking around.
And then I guess my next question is, what happened day one with being late? What was it? Just a time zone issue, or what went on there?
Yes. It was a complete honest mistake. I woke up at like 5:55, in the morning. Showered, took my time. I was already like prepared for a good round. I had like aspirations and like visions of like me driving away in that. and then like once I get a call like at my time, 7:36, I remember, from Sean Sommers, he basically said that why am I not there? It's like, 8:36 over there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, I'm like 35 minutes away. And he tried to do what he can to, make things work for me. But I already knew in my head I was going to take penalty strokes, all the holes until I get there. and I was already just preparing for like, the worst. And he told me, and I was like, yeah, I already know. Now I already kind of know. He's like, just get to hole 4, park your car, and start. Just get on it. And I got there just in time to make hole 4, and I was already like, didn't warm up or anything. I just kind of just got there and just jumped in, and I kind of just really wanted to do my best, but I set my goals to a more attainable level. I went from the car in my head to like top 10. I was hoping to get that at least, as the days went on, and I started climbing, I got more confident, and I was feeling better on my drives, especially committing more to my shots. So.
Well, the nice thing about Fountain Hills is it doesn't matter where you are. Every one of those holes is next to the road. So you can literally just park and go. You don't have to run halfway across to park anywhere. There's almost every tee box is within 30 feet of the road. So
yeah, definitely.
That could have saved you a couple strokes. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us for a few minutes. We will, I promise we'll get in contact with you probably later this week. I'm going to get Terry back on, and we'll get a nice official interview going.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chris. We appreciate it.
All right. Look at the Christmas lights behind me. Pretty awesome.
Awesome.
But take it easy, guys. Thank you. I'll be getting in contact. This is the first time, so this is almost like a little test drive for me in this thing. So
well, it works out pretty well. So we'll just we'll make sure to get it set up officially.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna get Terry back on the line now. All right. Hi, Terry.
SmashBox customer service. How may I help you?
So, I asked him 3 questions, and he answered. He answered all 3. We couldn't merge the calls. I don't know if it's because he's on mobile. I don't know if it. I don't know what the thing was. It took us long enough to get him on. I told him we'd catch back up with him at a better time. He put me on hold to try to hit like a 60-foot putt. He's like, hold on a second. And he handed his phone off, and he had a little step putt, and then he grabbed the phone again. So I told him, focus on your golf. We will catch back up with you.
Yeah, it's 10:30 here. So he was in fact playing night golf. It was 8:30 in California.
He was playing night golf. He showed us some Christmas lights that were on some building. He talked about the fact that he knew Silas went OB. He attacked the hole because he didn't want it to end that way, he said. He wanted to give the kid some respect and end with a bang. I shake my head at that thought, but it didn't hurt him, so it's hard to second guess it.
It did not hurt him in this case.
In this case, correct.
Inches away from it getting up on edge and rolling into the water, and we'd be probably having a conversation with a 14-year-old right now.
Oh yeah, for most certainly. I asked him what happened with waking up, and he said it was just a time zone issue, and that he knew he was going to be late. I said it was fortunate that with Fountain Hills, every tee pad is within like 20 feet of the road, so it doesn't matter what hole you're on, you just drive up and get out. So, but
and again, we'll save it for when we do talk to him. But I think I'm going to poke a hole in this time zone challenge because he was already in Arizona.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's a time zone or he just thought that maybe he looked at the times wrong for day 1 versus where he was on. I don't know. We can get more out of him.
We will. I know, as I think I made a joke earlier in the week, like, I don't know what kind of Boost Mobile or jacked up cell provider he has if the time zone didn't change on his phone. I don't know. It just didn't. It does. At any rate, I understand Cali's 1 hour behind where we were, but it was confirmed by someone as that weekend wrapped up. He was there practicing all week.
Yeah.
He at one point went home, but he was in fact in Arizona the morning of the event.
I don't think I've ever interviewed or tried to interview somebody that was actual playing around during a round. You know, it's one thing to have, your on the course interviews during our broadcasts. sometimes a player will step up and we'll sit and chat with them. It's another to have a casual round, semi-casual round. Yeah, that was very strange. But
okay, well, either way, we'll if we can, we'll catch up with him another time. And if it's not something he wants to do or is interested in, that's all right as well. We, of course, at Smashbox want to provide a platform and give an opportunity for such an amazing situation for it to all unfold. And if it works for him, great. And if it doesn't, that's all right as well. And like I said, I think you're going to see and hear more from him on the course in upcoming years anyway. But we can worry about that later. So
exactly.
Yeah, Jeff Hungerford asked a great question. It says, my question is, why didn't he plan to get there earlier to warm up? Most players don't. Players do that more than an hour early. Again, I understand. I agree. And if he really was in Mesa, he wasn't that far away. But at any rate, I guess we'll worry about that all later. Johnny, I'm going to go ahead and follow up. I mean, I know we had all this great conversation. I feel like we, in talking with specifically with the man, Jeremy Rusco, in being in Arizona and experiencing that event the way we all did now, and then talking about like things like glass blown open registration. I don't know that there's a ton left on the ticker. AJ Risley's dad, Alan Risley, chimed in. He said that taking place out in California, Bobby Musick was your winner on the men's side, and Vanessa Van Dyken was your winner on the women's side for the event that took place. Obviously, a few bigger names there. I think Patrick Brown maybe even won on the Masters side. I think I saw a post from him. But outside of all of that, unless there's something that I don't, I don't know that there's a lot of news, and I wonder if we keep this very moderately at a shortened version here tonight.
We could go to a quick after show and then and do a Patreon giveaway and chat for just a few more minutes and then call it a night.
I mean, unless I'm missing something, I'll just say I don't have a lot of additional content outside of that. A lot of the main topics that we touched on, and believe it or not, we are a full hour and 45, so that's about 90 actual minutes of show tonight. Yeah.
And clearly maybe you don't know that thing that Rusco sprung on us, the amateur match play championships. Is that going to be a major?
I don't think so. I think you're going to see it as a year-long event that's going to lead to something that will then have a finale, maybe similar to what we just saw. Do
you think it's going to be PDGA sanctioned?
I would assume. I mean, they just got done telling us.
Then he can't stop us from playing. If it's not a major, you and I are under that pro level. We can get in. We can get in on that.
Yeah. Good call. Now I see where we're going with
this. That's right. Yeah. That's right. He can't stop us.
We have some real priorities.
That's right.
I think it was Mace that said, "Can't nobody hold me down." Maybe that was Tupac. Puffy? I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Once we get more details, but I'm hoping that there will be some form of live, potentially some live coverage whenever it does fold or come to a head and wraps up. It should be pretty awesome. All right, match play. Yeah, well, again, let's wrap things up. There's nothing wrong with a little bit more concise show here tonight. Once you edit out 15 minutes of goofing around, but we're a good regular show. Yeah. Well, let's get to the after show. Have a few odds and ends. Save all your questions. I'm starting to see them come pouring in. Get your questions ready. Let's hammer through some questions, and then let's move into our Thanksgiving weekend on a good note.
Yeah, turkey.
So I'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'd like to thank, of course, Jeremy Rusco over at Dynamic Disc, along with Robert McCullen, Eric McCabe, and Bobby Brown, and all those guys that are all part of that team as they continue to push one another and then push disc golf media forward. So thank you to all of those individuals and everyone over at DD. In fact, I just got a DD shipment that arrived at my house yesterday.
Ooh.
So I'm excited to be able to dig through it and put some of those goodies up for sale for everyone to support what we're doing. So thank you to all of those guys. I'd like to thank Chris for kind of sort of joining us or giving us some insight maybe a little later when we'll catch up with him. And for Johnny V and Terry Miller, myself, the disc golf guy, we're going to see you guys in the after show. We're going to have a giveaway, another giveaway that is. So make sure you tune in for that. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. And we'll see you in a few minutes in the after show when you step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV. All right, welcome to the after show as Terry digs in his eye. Sorry about that. I did not mean to catch you when you had your fingers in your eye.
At least it was my eye, not somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So tonight's show is all over the place. I feel one of the issues we've been having, or I've been having with Skype, and it might be related to the Dana issue, is the program that we use, vMix. I created a whole new template because I think that's might have been what was causing some of the things to be jacked up and Dana maybe to be skippy, because you were the same way when I first called you, although it doesn't happen to all of our guests, so I'm not positive, which means I literally did this at the last second, so I don't have all of our assets. I didn't fix the audio for the thank you, so I'll get it all figured out. It'll be just, yeah, half this stuff happened at about 5 to 9 when I realized that something wasn't right and you weren't here and we were doing other things. So either way, it was, and now I'm going to do some editing on the podcast. Maybe I'll do that on the ride up to Sturgeon Bay tomorrow.
All righty. Well, yes, thank you guys for tuning in. As we said in the regular show, I'm not on location. I am not in Milwaukee. I'm about 2 hours north of there visiting my parents and looking forward to a great holiday weekend and running a tournament this weekend and doing all sorts of things. If we have any viewers out there that are usually of the Norwegian heritage that have lefse, that you have any leftover and you want to send my way, Johnny, and I know his family makes it sometimes. We saw another smashie of ours, good friend of ours, Jenny Cook, and her family making some. But if you're the lefse type, and if you don't know what it is, well, that's another story for another day. But if you have any extra lefse and you want to work some my way, I don't have a real good connection to it like I used to when
they're basically,
Grandma made it.
Yeah, they're basically potato tortilla shells. You mash up a bunch of potato, add a little bit of sugar when you mash it, and then you cook it. It's very, very, very thin, and then you let it sit for a while. And if I have, I'll check my in-laws, because they don't make it as much. Last time we made it was a few years ago, but they usually buy a big fat pound of it at one of the stores up north where you can get it, and it's very good. I'll see if I can swipe some for you, Tara.
Nummy. I love me some lefse. All right. Dude, lefse, Danny Lindell's all over it. He wants some as well. So
it's good, and it's fun to make. What can I say? I was making fun of Jenny Cook because the lefse that we make are these big round sheets. They're actually called rounds. It's like rounds of lefse. And she was making like these tiny ones and all these weird shapes, and it looked, as much as I love Jenny, it didn't look like a sound operation there. I'm sure it tasted great, but it can do better than that.
oh, cool ones, but begging for the after show bug.
I don't
have it, Johnny.
I don't, because I literally created, which is why people saw the weird Smashbox logo and the thanks thing was all jacked up and quiet. I don't have the after, which is why we're not in our boxes like we normally are. And I'll get it all figured out for next week. I'm just going to recreate it from scratch, so hopefully it'll clear out any issues that we might have, residual issues that we might have had.
Just when I thought episode 170 was going to mean something special and look extra special,
no, it's
here
not.
we are.
It's really not.
So much for that commemorative 170th show stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give away this disc right away.
Go for it.
I've got everything sorted. One other note before I do give this disc away. I just today, and I sent Terry a message about this, got a list of the other patrons that have signed up since we sent out the discs. When Terry comes back, he'll have that list. He can probably ship those out to the people who got them. If you sign up after December 1st, you're going to be included in next year. We're not going to be giving any more away this year, just because the numbers don't work out well for us. I mean, it just doesn't work out. So anyone that signs up as a patron will be scheduled to get their disc, their 2018 Patreon disc, starting next year. And I don't know when we're going to send those out. We'll have to do a big design on that, and I'm hoping June-ish, like kind of maybe what we did this year, maybe a little earlier, June, July, so we can get some more patrons on that. And if you want to be registered for the giveaway, I'm going to be giving away this, not this one. This particular one is going to go to the winner of the other contest that we had earlier in the show. So check out our Facebook page. But if you want to be qualified to win one just like this, you can go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV and be a patron. It means the world to us. Honestly, it's way better to do this show with you guys as patrons. It helps out in a lot of ways. It helps us be able to afford new equipment and all this other stuff. So I'm excited. Let's give something away. So we have 160 patrons. So we're actually down 2 patrons from last week. No big deal.
Ouch, people are giving up on us.
They're giving up on us. It's fine. It's the holidays, so people need to take that money and patronage their family instead of us. The number is 121. I'm going to scroll to 121, and it is Jake Harris. So congratulations, Jake Harris. You've been a patron. He's been a patron since February 15th to be exact. So thank you. It truly, like I said, it means a lot to us. So I will send Jake an email, and we will go on with this. So let's talk some after show stuff.
Okay. Well, as I said, or I guess I alluded to as we were wrapping up the regular show, I don't have a heck of a lot to add on to what we've already talked about. And I think inside or outside disc golf, yeah, I don't really have a heck of a lot these days. It was a great trip to Arizona. I hope to go back. I know the Maricopa event is trying to work something out. I want to thank Jimmy, who was a new cameraman to us. So there was a little bit of a learning curve come Sunday. Normally we've had really the same 2 or 3 guys work our cameras when it comes to the live production. And it's so much more than just working a camera. We knew that he was more than capable of working the camera, but kind of learning our flow and some of our best practices, or some of our mediocre practices.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if I call them best practices, but
so Jimmy stepped into that role, and for getting thrown into it and helping out the way that he did, of course we want to thank him and commend him for the work he did. From what I've gathered, anything that was screwed up was probably on Johnny B's end.
I'm going to go with my end. Sure.
I'm just going to assume. But seriously, thank you to Jimmy. And then we can just say it 100 times over. Thank you to all of the Arizona disc golf clubs, and then specifically the clubs and people that were all involved at the Next Gen Championship event. And then, specifically, I think of Cynthia, and I think of Dave and Pat. Kind of the big brains of the backbone of the operation as well. And then, meeting some new people. I got to hang out with Colt Breck a little bit more this weekend, which was a first. In terms of a longer presence, we got to hang out a little bit more. I met Grady, who's done a ton of the website stuff and is a real brain behind the scenes in that way. So thank you, and for everything you're doing, Grady. It was great meeting you and hanging out with you this weekend as well. And here's something that's so cool. Grady was there this weekend with the Next Gen Tour. He's done a ton of the website stuff. He's done some graphic stuff. He's done some video stuff. And Grady has never competed in a tournament.
Seriously?
He's never played in a disc golf tournament. He's just a really passionate fan and just an all around great guy and a go getter. And he's never even played in a tournament. So I think that's awesome. Scott Reek, who was a scoring director, was there. It was great to see him and talk to him about the Kansas City disc golf scene and what's going to be going on with the Pro Masters Worlds this year. So, he was a Wisconsin resident for quite a few years. So it was great to catch up with him. Michael Downs from the PDGA was there. He's always an amazing individual to be around. So it was great. We had a great house. We had a great group. Here's the question. Do I look silly or like an idiot if I post what ended up being a 5-minute video showing everyone the house that we stayed in this weekend in Fountain Hills, with the 3 or 4 or 5 bathrooms and the 6 or 8 bedrooms and the pool? I kind of just walked around and did a little video, and it ended up being 5 minutes. I wasn't even trying to tease it out.
Go ahead and put it out there. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like we own the place. We're not rolling in cash.
No. I wonder if people would have any interest in seeing it. It was great that they put the staff and the crew up there, so that we were just a mile and a half from Fountain Hills, from the actual course. We were in Fountain Hills, just a mile and a half from the park, and it was just an all around awesome experience, really for everybody. So, and Chad, our additional cameraman, who's been there throughout the year, was great as well. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
So, and something I don't know if it was ever really, we didn't have to harp on it. I don't think with
harp
exactly harp on it with Jeremy Rusco. Is it public knowledge what courses everyone's playing? Maybe the board should answer that before I open my big mouth.
For GBO?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's out on the schedule. I mean, what I know for sure is Open is only playing one course. They're playing Country Club, the gold layout or whatever, the maxed out.
Okay.
Yes, that is public knowledge. I'm fairly certain they have the entire.
Okay. Well, as long as that's schedule. Public knowledge, I know I think at one point I was privy to that as being a secret, but if it's now public knowledge, then so be it. Okay. So never mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Open, as Tim asks, Open is just playing Country Club. Oh, yep, just Country Club, the maxed out version that EMAC designed. So I'm excited for that. I don't know how different it's going to be. I know EMAC is excited. He said I think he said it's never been played in a true tournament before, is what he had said.
Really? So it is different than what we've seen all these other times.
It is. I think it's extended. It's extended. So
okay.
I'm like I said, I'll go out and look at the caddy book. Hopefully we can find that, or we'll have EMAC on and maybe talk to him about it and figure that out.
Okay. And I can't give too many details yet. And I know, Johnny, you don't even know this because we didn't talk too much today about it. But I did have another lengthy conversation with Steve Dodge. And Steve Dodge is just continuing to already plan for next year. He's talking about the tour. He's talking about media coverage. And he's just really trying to push things forward. And I think we're going to be all really excited to hear what Steve's got up his sleeve. He's always working on stuff, is just one way to put it. So
I agree. I had a 10-minute conversation with him today about media and the future and plans, what we're going to do. And I'm excited. I think there's going to be some really fun things that are going to go on next year.
Yeah, for sure. And a question, Nick, out on the board. Nick, I think you're a kind of a newer contributor. Yeah. Glad to have you, buddy. He says, any update on the DGPT events on the FNTSY channel?
There's no true updates. I'm in communication with them. Basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the final round of each DGPT event and I'm going to cut it down to whatever specs they want. So for every hour of TV, it's actually 46 minutes of actual stuff they're going to put their commercials in. So I needed, and I asked Terry, and I don't even know if he was able to do it or not, cut together just a quick intro for the piece, because we don't just want to throw it out there. We would like to introduce it and say, hey, everybody, you're about to watch blah, 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 and do the thing. So hopefully, Terry, were you able to do that?
Yeah, it's funny. We talked about it on Saturday night and Saturday during the day, and I think even Sunday morning, and then I didn't do it.
Okay.
So we'll just have to do it a different way.
Yeah, we can do it a different way. I just want to get it taken care of and sent to them. And if we don't do it, it's not a big deal. We can, maybe we can do another one for the second one. But yes, I want to get that finished. It's all cut together, literally just waiting for the intro, and then I send it out to them. So
awesome.
And we'll see how it works. We'll see what they think and whatnot.
Sweet.
I'm excited for it.
Okay, well, very good. Well, maybe we could do something like that next Tuesday, if that's not too late. Maybe Tuesday. When we're back. So I know someone had asked, I think, but everything's planned as normal next Tuesday. I'll be in studio, and things should run a little bit more smoothly for us as well. There's been a lot of hubbub, mainly from Dion himself, but it looks like we're gonna it looks like we'll get Dion the Whip Arlen on probably even next week. I think I threw that out there. Tonight would have been an option, except for we didn't need any more technical challenges with me being gone. So why don't we just plan on having Dion on the show?
Okay.
Whether it's the show or the after show or whatever, we'll get that arranged with him.
170 episodes, and we're planning ahead now. That's amazing.
Wow. I mean, these are just 2017 goals, and now we're going to start addressing them because it's almost done. The year, that is.
It's a good idea.
Danny says, I'm going to the GBO.
I would hope so, Danny. I hope to see you there. I want to go to the GBO this year. I think I mentioned I got a new Windows laptop for work, which I can also do SmashBox work on. I bought a very nice Dell gaming machine with for those of you nerdy guys, 1060 NVIDIA graphics card and an i7-77HQ Intel processor in it, which basically means it's fast, and it will support. Basically, it's just a hair slower than my desktop here. So I'm excited that I'll be able to take that on the road, and we'll be able to do broadcasts from the road with that if I really need to, and not have to worry about things like, worrying if I'm going to run out of space or if it's got enough processor to do all the different cameras at once and the replay and the recording. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be able to bring that to GBO and run a show off of that. Yeah, and it'll probably be the one event I'll get to go to this year.
Dion's on the board saying this will be the running gag. Dion will be on next week.
It's the Jimmy Kimmel and Matt Damon thing.
Exactly. Sorry, we ran out of time for you. We'll have you on next week. GBO, Nick says, I'll be at the GBO. Overly excited, and it's still so far away. That it is. So, Johnny, a question that was asked, and it was commented earlier on the board. Mm-hmm. Is it possible for our guests to use FaceTime to possibly integrate and communicate with us for those that are, I don't know, use the Macintosh products, those little Macintosh apples, or whatever those are?
No. FaceTime is not an open standard. We use a Windows machine here, so to get it on would not work out. They could use Google Hangouts. They could use Skype. We've got the vMix call program, which can be used if we wanted to try to walk someone through that. It's not too hard. It's just, it would require just a little test. They don't need any sort of application. It doesn't work so well on phones sometimes. It works. I haven't tested it on the new Windows phone. New Apple phones. I've heard it works pretty well on the new Android phones. So it's a different beast. But no, the FaceTime would not work, unfortunately, as much as I'd love it to.
All right. Well, I heard a couple people asking for it or wondering if it would possibly work, and so I thought I'd ask. The WhatsApp has video calling now, too. Again, it's all about how it integrates into, and I think I said it earlier in the comment section, it's all about what those applications and how they integrate or don't into our kind of fancy video program or production program that Johnny uses. So it's not just like a normal call to call like you would be doing with your friends.
Yeah,
I mean, we're big time here. I mean, check out my basement and your basement.
Hey, it's a studio.
Yeah, mine too.
Yours has a fake brick wall like my grandmother's kitchen from the 80s.
Don't worry about that. All right, Nick. Have a great night, Nick. Outside of that, again, I really don't have too much for you. I don't know if you've got anything of value.
Not really. I rarely do.
Okay. I know. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm also going to go out on a limb here and actually say I'm tired. I know that's a lot of people don't hear me say that often, but I'm tired. I'm ready to call it an early night here.
Yeah,
Possibly.
it is. It's 11 o'clock. It will be an early night. I'll be doing a little bit of audio editing maybe tonight or tomorrow if I can get my wife to drive up to Sturgeon Bay tomorrow. Otherwise, it's Knitmo, which means her goal is to knit as much as possible in the month of November, so I'm usually stuck driving. Oh, if you get the chance, Tara, I think you would like this. It's very slow, but Netflix has Mindhunter. It's based in the 70s about two guys who start discovering and kind of setting down the rules for serial killers. They work for the FBI and get that. I'm 2 episodes through. It's weird. Not weird, but it's good. I think you might like it. So Mindhunters or Mindhunter.
Mindhunters. Okay.
Yeah.
I may look into that in my spare time. All right. Johnny, if you want to carry on, you're more than welcome to. And no, I know some people are like, Terry wants to go. He's just trying to get out of here. No, not necessarily. But I'm exhausted, and I just don't feel like I've got a lot more to contribute here tonight. So I am going to call it. Dion says Mindhunter is great, and thanks for the live coverage on Sunday. Ryan, you're welcome. I think, Ryan, I'll see you this weekend. I think you're playing in my event on Sunday, so looking forward to that as well. So, and Fincher is another one that people are chiming in with.
David Fincher is the director of Mindhunter. He's the guy who also did Fight Club. So, and he's done a bunch of other really good movies. I mean, David Fincher is a phenom. So, good stuff. I'm excited. I might download some and watch it over Thanksgiving with my wife.
Okay, makes perfect sense. Are you working tomorrow? You're traveling north tomorrow?
Technically, am I working tomorrow? I'm on the clock tomorrow. Am I working? I might be driving. I might be going to my Door County office. We'll see.
Okay, fair enough. And Andrew Clayson's on the board. Yeah, so you're technically on the clock, but you're kind of not sort of working and traveling. I got you, right?
You said it, not me, buddy.
I said it, not you. Exactly. I was waiting for that. And then Andrew Clayson's on the board. Andrew, I know you did the bracketology, which is actually something we could have had prepared tonight, and maybe they've announced it already, but the bracketology from the Next Gen finale. So thank you for doing that. I know you worked hard on that. And then Andrew also worked on another special little side project for me. And to answer you directly, Andrew, I was able to pull it up. I looked at it for about 2 seconds, and I will dig more into it probably Thursday and Friday as I prepare for my tournament. So thank you so much. Again, I didn't get a chance to dive into it yet. I just haven't had the time, but thanks for the help. I certainly appreciate it.
And we'll get Lisa Fakis on as well, probably in a couple weeks. It will be a perfect time to have her on to discuss what her plans for next year are.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny, are you going to carry on? Do I need to?
No, I'm going to end it so I can do some editing so we can cut out some of the BS in the during the regular show.
All right. Well, in that case, again, quick after show, which is a real interesting change of pace. So I want to thank all of our guests earlier tonight in Jeremy Rusco, but also, briefly having Chris Keseloff. We'll hopefully catch up with him another time. Thank you guys to our Patreons. Have a super great Thanksgiving, all that good stuff. Looking forward to a normal show for you next week. We'll be loud and clear. We'll also be catching up with Dion the Whip Arlen. We'll check in with him next week, and I'm sure we'll have some more goodies, including cold turkey 12 results. OMG, my C tier. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Have a good Thanksgiving. Good night, Johnny, and good night, Smashies.
Good night.